man.
Skip to early April 2020. The corona outbreak had reached the rest of the world. People were put in quarantine and isolation. I was one of those quarantined. So I had 2 weeks off from work and I was watching some YouTube. Willie was one of the YouTubers I was watching. I was wondering if I should give Classic one more chance after I did some research on the game. It was a lot more of an RPG game than any other MMO I ever played. I have played both BDO and ESO. Once again, I gave my money to Blizzard without hesitation. I pressed the biggest download button I've ever seen. I was so hyped. I looked up some guides on what to play, obviously not a hunter. I finally felt like a kid again. Looking back on my first experience in Classic, I didn't want to play Alliance. I wanted to be a metalhead from Horde, so I chose the best race there is, the Gunjaman, aka the Troll. After watching some guides and remembering from my past MMORPG experiences, I picked the almighty Mage. Playing as a mage was great. Fast leveling because of Frost AoE, unlimited food and drink, always getting paid for summoning food and portals, get money, get rich. Early game was a lot harder than late game, in a sense of my inexperience in Classic. I didn't understand at first that I could AoE pull mobs and kill up to 10 mobs at the same time. Instead, I just killed one after one. After I learned about AoE damage and killing many mobs at the same time, you just kill them and chug down the highest level water you have and you're good to go for a new pool of mobs. Damage wise, the Frost spec is more focused on dealing damage to many enemies at the same time than Fire spec, which is more single target focused. Just AoE them down and you're good to go. As of dungeons, there's a lot more preparations to do. You need to ask around to get some lads to join in a dungeon run. There's no dungeon finder as there is in retail WoW. For once, you need to go to look for people in world chat and so on and so forth. So looking for group could take a while. However, once you get into a group and start running the dungeon, things get fucking hard. I was new to the whole dungeon thing. I just pull mobs by accident and doing dumb things as not polymorphing mobs and getting threat where I shouldn't get threat. Even though I may have been the reason a few times for wiping the dungeon, the people I played with were friendly and kind towards me. As a guy who played a bit WoW in Mist of Pandaria, the dungeon experience for me was a lot better. In retail, I got my ass flamed to hell and got kicked out of the dungeon, which was unfortunate for a new guy like me. I ended up joining their guild and we played a lot more together. After doing some few runs in Rage for a Chasm and Wailing Caverns, I met a German guy in Ashen Vale. We ended up leveling from level 20 to level 60 together. We had a blast playing WoW together. AoE Frost Mage and Druid. He pulled with bear form and I AoE'd them down. Free farm all around. It was a great experience for me who didn't have any knowledge of the game and didn't know much about my class and how to play it well. He taught me the game and really tried his best teaching me. When I hit level 40, I got my first mount. I finally never had to walk around like a maniac. I could finally ride my mount and it felt like riding the wind. Rock hard, ride free. It was insane. As a new player in WoW, finally getting his first mount and never had to walk ever again, it was great. The difference in community of WoW Retail and Classic is many of the retail players have one goal, get to max level and grind the end game to get the best gear for the next expansion. The same is with Classic, but the players in Classic are a lot more wholesome and wants to help you progress in WoW. Some of the players in retail, as of my experience, would just rush through the dungeon and just say GG afterwards. If I end up pulling the wrong mob or pull too many mobs, I get flamed hard and just get called a lot of ugly stuff. The player's mindset of retail is something for me as a new player to really struggle with. I am doing my best and I get shit for doing my best, which in this case isn't good enough. Not all players are like this though. There are a lot of helpful lads in retail too. Nevertheless, I have encountered more all-around kind and good players in Classic than in retail. It was a blast during the time I did some raids with my guild. Again, I watched some guides on how to do MC and eventually Blackwing Lair. My guild asked me to join a run of MC. I was so freaking excited and I couldn't hold myself. We all met in Blackrock Mountain and walked into the raid instance. We all joined the Discord and the raid leader discussed the tactics before we started the run. As of then, I was the newest member of the guild and I did my best. All of the other guys in the raid had all the gear they needed from MC, and I had shit gear. All I had was an early best in slot items. This meant that I didn't do the most damage the whole raid, but I did my best. I conjured water and food when the healers and all the casters needed it. I did what I was told when the leader told me to. Finally, I thought I did something. Until the last boss, the big, bad and ugly Ragnaros, the biggest mother trucker I've ever seen. As I said, this was my first time experiencing the WoW Classic endgame, so I felt fucking fantastic. We are regaining health and filling up our mana pools, getting into the right positions and answering ready on the roll call. The raid leader explains us what to do and not to do. Our warrior goes balls to the fucking wall, we're all attacking, someone's getting knocked up by the spells Ragnaros are using. After 30 seconds into the fight, I get knocked up too. But I have one ace up my sleeve. Blink. I land safely, but wait. I get knocked up once more, and my blink was on cooldown. I see my impending doom. I'm getting flashbacks from my experience in WoW Classic, how much fun I had, and some of the bad times too. Then I died. I didn't get revived. So my first raid ended up in pain and suffering. I thought I was doing a great job in the raid as a first time raider. Guess I was wrong. However, I got some good first time raid loot, which did my mage just fine. From early biz items to raid loot was great. I sat in the guild Discord a while longer. Someone traded me some gold to get the level 60 mount. I ended my day on a high note after dying and watching my raid performance just sink down below the ground. So my experiences in WoW Classic. It's all around a great fucking game. Great community, great camaraderie, great RPG experience. I had a fucking blast leveling from my level 1 to level 60. Everything from getting my first mount to have a companion who leveled together with me for many hours. Through thick and thin, sweat and blood, I am finally done with this sort of review. I give WoW Classic a 9 out of 10 from a casual WoW player point of view. Even though the learning curve was a bit difficult, but a lot of help from the community, it became a lot easier to play and a lot more fun too. Someone to ask advice from and someone to just talk to and chill with along the way was very helpful. So, thank you for watching. If someone will ever watch this except my grandmother, I really appreciate it. Perhaps there will be more game reviews or gameplay videos in the future if I have the time. Thanks for watching. Peace out.